The episode begins with Toya in his laboratory building, working on creating a new android. As he looks at his phone, he realizes that there is a specific area in the android that needs adjustment. He asks his friend Monica to add something to Baron's design tonight. Monica tells him to leave it to her and she will take care of it. She assures him that she will accomplish it in the blink of an eye. Then he receives a call through telepathy from one of his assistants, who apologizes for disturbing him while he's busy. However, she tells him that she has a visitor at the castle. Toya asks her about the visitor, and she tells him that it's someone claiming to be his older sister. Toya is surprised because he doesn't have any siblings. He asks her about her appearance, and she describes her as having pink hair and looking about 5 years older than him. The girl who is with her understands that they can communicate through telepathy and joins the conversation. Then, the older sister sits with Toya's friends and tells them that she is Mitsuzuki Karen, Toya's older sister, and she is happy to see him again after a long time. She keeps hugging him because she worries about him a lot, and something might have happened to separate them. The girls tell her that it wouldn't be kind of them to disturb their family time, so they will leave now. As they exit the room, Toya asks Karen what exactly she is doing here and why she came to the surface of this world. She tells him that she came here for a vacation because it's surrounded by a lot of love. Just looking at him was enough to rejuvenate her body and soul. However, her shoulders have been feeling stiff lately, so she decided to stay by his side and immerse herself in the power of love to heal her stiff shoulders. Toya tells her that he is not a source of energy for her, but since she arrived, she felt that her shoulders have become lighter. He asks her about the reason she claimed to be his older sister, and she explains that it was just a fleeting idea at the moment. Anyway, that's why she will stay with him for some time. During their conversation, the maid interrupts and informs Toya that there is an envoy from the kingdom of Lestia who has been waiting to meet him for about an hour. She explains that it's customary for knights from other kingdoms to be curious about the knights of Lestia. Toya goes to the training grounds to meet Princess Hildegard, whom he hasn't seen for a very long time. He asks her why she came here, and she tells him that she is here as a companion to her grandfather, the former king of the kingdom of Lestia. The king recognizes Toya and introduces himself as Galen Jonas, an adventurer of the highest rank like Toya. He thanks Toya for the amazing gift he presented them a few days ago and has come to express his gratitude and do some sightseeing in Brunhild. Toya is thrilled because there isn't much for him to see here, but he hopes the king will enjoy it. Then Toya extended his hand to greet the king, but the king did not reciprocate and informed him that this was an old tradition in Lestia. His granddaughter became angry and reminded him that they were not in their own country, and she had asked him many times to refrain from such behavior. The princess apologizes to Toya with great fear, considering her grandfather's actions as mere muscle spasms of an old man. Toya finds this old man truly strange, as he might be the highest-ranking adventurer or perhaps a deviant old man. The former king talks about the tourism he mentioned before, as he had heard rumors that Brunhild had some handmade artifacts, which were giant soldier figures. They are ancient relics that people can ride and control. Toya suggests that it would be faster for Erika to see it in person rather than explaining. So Toya takes them to see it, and he says, "This is the frame Tross. It's one of our winning cards to fight the phrase." The girl is surprised and asks, "Phrase, those crystal monsters?" Toya then asks Monica to show them how it works. The man explains that these frame trosses are currently owned by them, and Toya confirms that they have a little over 10 of them. The man asks Toya what he intends to do with such power. Toya responds that the phrase are creatures that were destroyed in the past, from an ancient civilization found in this world. Now there is a possibility that the same tragedy may occur again, and if there is a comprehensive attack by the phrase in the near future, we won't have a means to counter it. That's why I brought the frame trosses. Of course, I don't intend to invade any other countries. I can lend them to our allied countries to help deal with giant monsters or natural disasters like earthquakes. The man says that if Lestia forms an alliance with them, he can borrow these frame trosses. Toya replies, "As long as you don't use them for war or anything illegal." The man tells Toya that one of the reasons for his visit to Brunhild was to build friendly relations between our two countries. He used to talk to his son before joining their alliance, but he doesn't see a reason to oppose it. Toya is delighted and says he would be happy to have him with them, although he needs to hold a summit for the other member countries. Then the princess interrupts their conversation, saying she wants to fight the strongest warrior in his country. Then they engage in a duel, but they each block the other's attack. The princess tells her it was an enjoyable fight, and she has a fantastic night. Toya corrects her, saying, "She's not a member of the knights. She's my fiancé." The princess is surprised, and Toya tells her that Queen Yule announced our engagement 2 days ago, even in front of the public. Then the girl appears and tells the princess, "You're also attracted to Toya." Toya speaks in astonishment, saying, "We've only met twice." The girl tells him, "You're popular as usual, as far as I can see." The princess speaks shyly, saying, "I didn't expect this girl to be engaged to you. I'm causing you trouble." Sakura says, "I was in the same situation as you before, so I understand how you feel. When Toya proposed to me for the first time, I was one of his partners, and I couldn't express my feelings to him. I kept it hidden in my heart. That's why it's only fair for you to be engaged to Toya as well." Then Ye asks her father to marry her to Toya. Everyone is shocked by her request, and Princess Hildegard declares that she will be the 7th wife. However, Toya is taken aback by their words because it's not that simple for one man to handle 7 wives. It's a very demanding task, and he doesn't think he can bear it. At the same time, the prince enters and informs Princess Hildegard that he will not allow her to marry so easily. The situation then turns around, and the prince tells Toya that he must show a certain level of determination to marry the princess of the Night Kingdom. He must first fight and defeat the prince in battle to prove his worth and surpass him in combat in order to marry her. Meanwhile, the princess of the Night Kingdom, Lestia, gathers with the girls and consults with them about whether she should also become Toya's wife or not. However, everyone warmly welcomes the idea, and they unanimously agree that Lestia should be Toya's next wife. They cheer for her presence and hope that she will be a good wife. The princess expresses her gratitude for the wonderful reception and promises to do her best to fulfill Toya's goals. The girls tell her that she is a good princess and that she can serve her people. They talk to her, acknowledging that she is also a princess but from a different country, as they are from the eastern region while she is from the far west. With this, they will have connections from the far east to the far west and can govern the entire world alongside the hero Toya. At that moment, the Princess of Love enters and wants to hear all the details. She asks about the time when she fell in love with Toya. The other princess responds that he was the most beautiful person she had ever seen in her life. He was radiant, and light emanated from him and his face. The Princess of Love becomes even more interested and tells her that this is love at first sight. She had always been lost in her thoughts about Toya, even among people. After sharing these numerous details, the Princess of Love informs her that this is called love from the first glance. She had been thinking about Toya all the time, even getting lost in her thoughts. After that, she overhears her grandfather talking about going to Brunhild to see Toya's nature in reality, which makes her very happy. She asks her grandfather if she can accompany him to be close to Toya and have a valid reason to see him. The princess blushes intensely, and she needs to be engaged to Toya now. However, there are some difficulties because she must first defeat her grandfather, the former king of the kingdom, in a match. But she tells them that it's not that easy because her chance of defeating her grandfather is 1 in 10. It's practically impossible. The princess becomes very sad. Then the princess starts the match against her grandfather, who is very strong, and she has no chance of winning against him. She uses a defensive style only, and in the end, her defense increases, and she falls. Then Toya tells the girls that he can turn the tables with one move if he exploits a loophole. Toya thinks for a moment and tells them that he can exploit this loophole because he knows the old man's weakness. He is very passionate about beautiful girls at that moment. Toya takes out his smartphone and activates an illusion for a beautiful and seductive girl. When the old man sees her, he becomes infatuated with her and leaves the fight. In that moment, the princess takes advantage of his distraction and delivers a strong blow, knocking him down. Thus, she has won the match against him. After that, Toya congratulates her on the victory, and she tells him, very happily, that she can now marry him too. At that point, the grandfather admits his defeat and acknowledges that he got distracted, leading to his loss in the fight. Toya uses his healing technique to treat him, and then the grandfather informs them that he will allow their engagement. From now on, the princess should strive to become a knight of Brunhild instead of Lestia. Then the grandfather tells Toya that his granddaughter is only good at wielding a sword, so he hopes that he takes good care of her. Toya assures him that he will do that and reassures him. Then they move to the castle, and the new girl tells them that she hopes they can be friends from now on. As the new member, she wants to ask them some questions and asks about the nature of Toya's parents because she wants to greet them. They tell her that they have never seen Toya's parents because he doesn't like talking about himself too much. The new girl wonders if they have any problems with their family, and suddenly Karen enters and tells them that the matter is quite complicated, so it's difficult for him to explain. However, eventually, he should tell them about it when he's ready. Then she tells them that she wants to know everything about the man they love. She understands their feelings as virgins, so she will share some secret information about Toya. At that moment, they all eagerly await hearing this information. Then she wants to tell them about Toya's first love since he was a child, and they are all excited to hear that. This cat friend of Toya tries to inform his master about it but fails because Karen prevents him from doing so. Karen tells them that she is radiating with power now because that was the best source of energy for love in this season, and she will enjoy it greatly. Here, we switch to Toya, who sneezes and feels that it is a warning for something specific. And that's how this episode ends. Stay tuned for the upcoming episodes, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates.